picked up today's paper, and the situation is no secret. It's kind of grim as it relates to the statistics that have been recently reported on behalf of a foundation that is really providing us with the latest data for our Virgin Islands children. Kids Count is definitely an instrumental tool that we use here in our community. And today on One-on-One, I would like to welcome the co-directors of Kids Count, Ms. Judith Richardson. Thank you for coming.
Hi, Cira.
And thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. And another co-director, Ms. Kim Holdsworth. Thank you so much for joining us here on One-on-One. It saddens me when I look at numbers such as those that were reported in our paper. 25% of our children and our families are living in poverty. 55.6% of the Virgin Islands children are led in single-family homes. Another alarming statistic, 73% of our Virgin Islands 7th graders can't read well. 12% of all our babies are born to teen moms. And definitely the issue, 49% of our children not being immunized. Even though these statistics look alarming, I know that we need to look at things from a different perspective. I know that we can use this data to turn things around, and I'm so happy that you came here today so we can talk about some of the solutions that we can possibly come up with collaboratively as a community to address the issues of our children in the Virgin Islands. So thank you for coming. Let's talk.
Thank you, Cira.
Okay. Let's talk about the most alarming one that really kind of resonates and pounced out of the paper for me. 25% of our families living in poverty.
That's true, and it actually is 29% of our children that live in poverty. 25% of our families, but 29% of our children. And we like to focus on that because poverty really is the one indicator that affects every other indicator that we measure. And 29% is high. It's over 1/4 of our children. But we have to look at the fact that we've come a long way. When we started measuring, when we started doing Kids Count back in 2000, and we looked at the indicators from 1995 forward, it was 40% of our children that lived in poverty.
Wow.
And that was very, very alarming to us. And it was one of the reasons why we decided that we wanted to embark on the Kids Count initiative, that we wanted a vehicle where we could get our numbers out to our community, that we can use it as a tool to improve the lives of children and families in our community, and that people who work with children and families have a tool where they can go and they can see what the situation is, so that when they make their plans for programs and other initiatives, they can do it with a data-driven information rather than just look at anecdotal, oh, I can see there's a lot of poor kids in the community. If you can say, it's almost half of our kids.
Right. Well, I know that Kids Count started around 2000.
That's good. That was our first
That was the first publication. Tell us a little bit about what, I mean, you just shared that looking at the alarming statistic was something that triggered you wanted to put this together, but how is it affiliated and where did it come up and what are we doing?
Kids Count is a national initiative. There's a Kids Count initiative in every state in the United States, as well as Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. And back in the late 90s, the Community Foundation of the Virgin Islands, in trying to make their mission or their plan, looked at what was the need in the community, what do we need to do, and the data just wasn't there. Hard data-driven decisions were difficult to make because the data wasn't there. It was scattered everywhere. If you wanted to know what was happening to children in foster care, you had to go to Human Services. If you wanted to know what was happening in the schools, you had to go to the Department of Education. And even then, it was like, what data do you want? Where do we find it? And so the Annie E. Casey Foundation had already funded Kids Count initiatives in the other states, so we applied to become a part of that, and we were the first territory that Casey accepted as one of their
Grantees.
Grantees, thank you. First territory that Casey accepted as a grantee to do this work, and we've been doing it consistently every year since.
I know that as an educator, I use the tool myself, and every year when we publish it, I constantly look at the data because it's relevant. It's a quick tool where everything is there laid out for you. It's very user-friendly. I like the indicators pretty much that you have laid out within the Kids Count because everything is at a glance. We cannot dispute the fact that our community needs to address the issues of children, but when you give hard data, where you said, we can't run away from this problem. It's here. It's in our face. Now we need to use this piece of information to make a difference in the lives of children. I think that it's all well worth it. Judy, let me hear from you, if I may. Your involvement, Kim, excuse me, your involvement with Kids Count, how does it play in? How did you get involved? And
I actually started volunteering for Kids Count, and when I first came aboard, Kids Count was about the same size. It was about the same format, and our orientation had been to take our questions out into the community, and to say, what is it that the community needs information on? And so the first couple of years were a way to report data and also report what the community needed from us. So we had a lot of testimonials about some of the hot spots, people's concerns. People were concerned about what was happening to young people, teenage pregnancy, teenage crime, potential unpreparedness for the job market, which has to do with both with education and also with market skills.
Right.
How were our children being prepared for adult life? And other concerns came to light in that inquiry process. So from there, we were able to pull together the reporting that we've been continuing in the 10 years that I've been working with Kids Count. So each year we get feedback from the community, what they'd like to see us concentrate on, where they see the sustained need for reporting, and I think that we do our best to try to still be a listening as well as a informative presence. As we go forward, we're always taking suggestions. Sometimes people want to learn more about specifics about child health, obesity, diabetes, chlamydia, some of the things that they see are concerns. And so we try to address those as we can round up information. We have done a report on childhood obesity, working with a researcher in the community who was able to go into the Department of Health and get some of that information for us. It's just the two of us. So we're limited by the amount of research that we're able to pull from our data providers.
We'll be right back with more Kids Scout after the break.
The Virgin Islands Marine Academy is preparing our children for careers in the marine industry by offering a full curriculum of courses and certification in crew member sailing, safe motoring, sport and game fishing, PADI open water, lifeguard training, CPR, and first aid.
The U.S. Virgin Islands depends mostly on tourism, and like any other island that is considered a destination of choice, water is central to our survival. And these waters offer sport fishing, motoring, sailing, diving, and many other recreational activities that are second to none. All of this depends on well-trained, qualified individuals to help support the system known as the marine industry.
Should you choose to make a donation on behalf of the Virgin Islands Marine Academy, not only is it tax deductible, all monies received go directly to the support of the Academy.
That's what we came up with the show. Interesting people. We wanted to be one-on-one, conversation, not your traditional talk show. We really want to provide you with the real facts, the real talk, one-on-one.
United for Solutions, helping to produce television programming that informs and inspires the community to take action on social issues.
And we're back with Mrs. Judith Richardson and Kim Holdsworth with the Community Foundation, co-directors of Kids Count. This year's theme is quite interesting. It is investing in our children's future. And I know that a lot of the outcomes from Kids Count pretty much leads to people wanting to do more for children. Do you find that that is an initiative that's taken place as a result of putting Kids Count together?
We are hoping that investments in children are going to be seen for the real underpinning for a healthy society that they are. We're hoping to be able to emphasize the importance of investments for children, and those investments are going to be able to help safeguard children now as the economy is starting to feel the effects of the very serious effects of the recession here. Right. And it's also going to be helping to safeguard our children for the future by means of investments in education, in their safety, in their health. And one of the things that we've reported on for the first time this year is the role of public supports here in the territory, and the way that they have helped to safeguard children as their families' incomes have been eroding because of the recent recession. And one of the things that we think is important is to see that these public investments in children's welfare, in children's well-being, is a real strength for the community. And we're hoping that the powers that be are convinced through some of the data that we're reporting that further investments are necessary. We're reporting data from 2009, but we know, the community knows, that the full effect of the recession didn't take hold in 2009. Right. It became more serious in 2010 and in 2011 with the beginning of the layoffs here in the community. So we're anticipating that in the same way that we are showing an increase in the use of the safety net programs by children and families, that those programs are going to have to expand further to be able to take up the slack of children who are increasingly in need.
Yeah, that's correct. I look at statistics like 55.6% of the children that are living in the homes of the Virgin Islands are led by single-parent homes. But we see the exact same thing on how economic pretty much deals with and has a direct impact on the services that children receive, and the impact that it has on poverty, the impact that it has on literature with children, the impact that it has on the high increase of teen moms. It all is related, and I'm so happy that Kids Count takes the time out to put the data together and present it to the community and say, hey, we can't run away from this. We have to look at this and try to make a difference in the lives of children. And I'm so thankful that at least we have it here with statistics that are relevant to our day-to-day. A lot of the statistics that, in case you wanted to come up and do some research paper, you would always use mainland statistics. Well, now Kid Counts provide us with our very own statistics. Our very own.
And I think it's really important that we have our statistics, because so often when you pick up national reports, the Virgin Islands statistics, because we're such a